I have I have four grandchildren who I love and adore. My younger daughter, Janelle, my oldest daughter is Naquana Thomas. My younger daughter is Janelle. I call her my baby girl. She's Janelle Lyons, and her and her fiance, they have two children as well. They're a boy and a girl as well. And their oldest son is born on my birthday. So I'm a proud grandma. And then I have Emmanuel, aka Saint Evans. So I have two phenomenal queens and one amazing young king. And I'm a very family oriented person, love family, and do all we can to support and to continue to build that legacy that has been laid before us. We come from a very awesome legacy. Spiritually from my mother, just the anointing and the calling and the being raised up in the house of God and knowing who God is and being a woman of God. And then I have that activism and that advocacy and that Black power from my father. So, I am a kind of a radical woman of God who loves community, who loves people, and who has a calling, a king. I'm on kingdom assignment, so I'm grateful to God to be able to touch lives, to be able to stand in the gap for domestic violence victims, women, children, and men, whoever they may be as well, and to be an educator and an empower of people, helping them transition from pain, a place of pain in their life to purpose, as well as to be a youth leader. I've worked with youth for over 30 years, and to be able to, in various capacities, in education, in ministry, in business, and the community, and entrepreneurship. So youth leadership, as you see behind me, I'm honored to have been named, chosen, nominated first as leader and youth leader for the World Women Vision Awards this past March. The World Women Vision Awards took place, and I was chosen as the winner of the youth leadership category. So that's what you see behind me, and I'm definitely honored. It's an honor because when youth will work with you, it's an honor to have youth work with you. They need to work with people who, as you know, care about them, who will allow them to have a voice. So one of the things that I do in the community is to work with young people to empower their voice and to be able to give them tools to be able to have a healthy voice and not a violent voice, because we know that we see especially in the entertainment industry, where I've worked with my son for years, and it's into entertainment industry and the music industry and television. You see a lot of degradation towards women. You see unhealthy exposure of people, especially towards women. And, we want to be able to give our young people the voice to be able to express themselves through the arts, as well as, or whatever medium that they use, but as well as give them a platform to be able to create that healthy space, because it's very unhealthy today. So that's kind of who I am. I mean, there's a lot more that I do. People don't really know that I'm a spoken word poet.
Okay.
Like, that's where Saint get his.
Okay, I don't think I knew that either, that you did spoken word.
Yeah, I do. I do poetic expression. So I mean, it's not something I do all the time, but I do. I have some poems out there on my YouTube channel, different poems that I've spoken, and to inspire people, podcast CEO and visionary, the founder, as you said, and CEO of From Pain to Purpose Incorporated. Our Healing Pain Through the Arts youth program is amazing. And under that is our Youth Speak Out podcast, where we work with a phenomenal team of young people. So I'm the global leader of the World Women's Conference and Award, global organization, and we can dig into each one of these as we go along. But also in the World Women's Conference and Award, I'm not only the global leader for the Young Leaders Club, but I serve also as a domestic violence and youth advocate for the Atlanta chapter.
Wow.
So I'm a preacher, I'm a teacher of God's word, an intercessory prayer leader. So
Right. You wear so many hats.
A lot of hats.
Here's a question, and I see it says transformational speaker. Is there a difference between? Well, I know there's a difference, but explain to what's a transformational speaker versus a motivational speaker.
Okay, so a transformational speaker is a motivational speaker is someone who, they motivate you. And a motivational speaker can help transform your life as well. Mm-hmm. But my goal as a transformational speaker, when we get motivated, a lot of time it is based on circumstances. You're in that room, you're in that conference, you're on that Zoom or whatever it is, and you're motivated, you're hyped. And that moment is like, yeah, let's do this. Let's write a book. Let's write that play. Let's do whatever it is that you say you're going to do. Let's open up that business. Let's do those t-shirts. And you get all motivated and hyped and for that time. And then nothing happens. The plan is not written, or maybe you write the plan, put it down, and not to say that that's motivation is what we need, because it gives us that spark that we need to be able to say, yes, I want to do this. I can do this. But transformational speaker is someone who focuses on transforming your life. And when you are transformed, you don't go back to what you were. So transformation is one of the key things that I work on with people is being able to although our platform is domestic violence and teen dating violence and youth advocacy, from pain to purpose. Pain is something that everybody is acquainted with. It does not matter how old you are. It does not matter, if you've lived on this earth, especially as a young person or an adult, you've probably been dealt with some type of pain. It doesn't have to be domestic violence, teen dating violence, or whatever have you. It's some type of a pain that you've experienced, even if it's a physical pain. So we try to work with people to help them identify that pain, because a lot of times we mask it. Sometimes it's a phantom pain. Something has happened. A phantom pain is like, say you had an organ removed from your body, and then all of a sudden something happens and you feel that, like you feel the pain from that you used to feel from that organ being there. I had a gallbladder removed, and there was a track that the gallbladder pain used to run in, like right underneath my mid area here, around my side and into the middle of my back. And after I had my gallbladder removed, I was still pain, because when they put gas in to do the surgery, I was filled with pain. So when I was healing, when certain things would happen, I would feel pain in that track. So that was a phantom pain, because that's the pain I felt before my gallbladder was removed that gave me that pain. So sometimes you have something that happened in your life, and although it seemed like it's been resolved, something triggers it. And you feel that pain again, that phantom pain. Or sometimes you have something that's an acute pain that is stabbing, and it seems like never goes away, it intensifies. Various types of pain people have in their lives, and they don't know how to identify them. So we focus on trying to help people identify your pain so that you can get healing. Sometimes people are holding on to past issues and traumas and things that have taken place in their life because they don't know how to get healed. They don't know how to let go. They don't know how to dig deep into what actually is causing them to move on. I forgive, but I won't forget. You won't be healed. You won't be healed. So you have to focus on identifying your pain, being able to know what that pain is, finding once you get that diagnosis and know what that pain is, that's when you can work on the steps that's needed for that prescription, for that healing, for that particular issue. So that's transformation. When you begin to do it that way, you don't go back. It's like the caterpillar and the butterfly. You have to go into that dark space of that cocoon and go into that space where it's uncomfortable, it's tight, you feel like you're being closed in, you feel like you're almost dying, you feel like you want to give up because you feel like you're about to literally die. But sometimes you have to go into that space to be able to have that work done on you, have that old skin of that cocoon,
yeah, that rebirth.
come forth as a beautiful butterfly. So you're not that ugly looking caterpillar anymore. Yeah. Some of us are stuck in that ugly caterpillar stage, and you got to go through that emergence of that metamorphosis to be able to develop into that butterfly so that you can bring beauty to the world. So that's transformation.
Right. And it sounds like, I think it's fair to say this too, even dealing with the motivation, and I hope that people understand that you broke it down so profoundly. I would say, I wanted to say, even with the motivational speaking,
yes,
that we need it, right? And now that definitely. You have given the definition on the transformational speaker, I see where both are important, because that spark most people need, that does give them that. But like you said, that motivation, that's a feel. That's a feel. That's a right now feel that it makes them want to get up and go. But like you said, once they leave, you have no plan, you have no steps in place, and so they would probably need both. And I'm saying this to the people that's listening,
yes,
to seek out both. So if there is a person and they didn't know what transformational speaker were, now they do. You know what I'm saying? So if one doesn't take you to the next level, then now we have the information to say, hey, you know what? So let me go over here and talk to someone in this field, because now I'm hyped. Now I need to know what's the next step.
Yeah.
So
you can't live off that hypeness. You can't. That hypeness is gonna, because life is going to continue to happen. So what you have to do is be able to be in a place where you're tempered and be able to know that you have balance, and that even when the dark days come, and even when the things feel like your mojo is being taken away, you feel like you don't have the stamina, the resources are not there, the support is not there, the who you thought was going to be your ride or die is not there. All of those things may happen, but what you have to always remember is that you wake up winning no matter what.
No matter what.
Losing is not an option.
I'm telling you. And you know what? That saying, and a person have to get to that point, because it's not easy. You can go, nope. you can, because it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
And you have to continue to bump your head into something, because I was at that point. I'm like, man, I'm doing all of this, and this is what I kind of tell the youth. So we kind of jump in and get in front of that curve to let them know, hey, stay focused. You got to stay focused. You got this. You can't go back. And a lot of things that I present to the youth, that I've been there and done that for you. Even in talking to you've told me, Q, hey, don't worry about that. Keep doing what you're doing. You have a purpose and a plan and a vision.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Keep stepping, put your best foot forward. So when you're dealing with the youth per se, what's your method in getting that out of them? I do know everybody can't reach the youth. It takes a special kind of person and that commitment. And I do know others that they're saying, like, it didn't work. And I'm just like, well, maybe you wasn't the one. You know what I'm saying? So what are some of the methods that you have where they open up to you? What are some of the things that you present to the youth that they are able to confide in you?
Well, first of all, you have to be real. They can spot a phone in your mouth. They know when people care about them. When you have a genuine love and concern for them, and you want to see them win. When you provide opportunities for them and open up doors, and you give them an opportunity to have a platform, to have a voice, because a lot of times us as adults, we've come from that school of be seen and not heard. But the young people today, you can't really operate with them like that. We have to be able to operate with them on a 21st century level. Like these are some gifted, talented, technology-driven, creative young people. Yes. And if you continue to try to tell them no, they're not going to receive you. As a matter of fact, and we have to learn that even in the church, because a lot of times young people are walking away from the church because they feel like the church does not give them a say. The church does not open up, allow them to be real about who they are. Even the one time on the You Speak Out podcast, they were talking about how, sometimes as parents, the sex talk wasn't had, and y'all just say, don't do it. So, and as a parent, you have to be like, no, we didn't do that. No, we told you about that. Be like, no, you didn't. You didn't really sit down and have that talk with us. So you have to be able to be open to saying, I messed up as a parent. I didn't do it right. Maybe, and hear them. You have to have even the Bible says, he that have an ear to hear, you have to be able to have a hearing ear when it comes to our young people. And if they feel like you're hearing what they're saying, that you care about them, that you're real with them, that you're doing what you can to provide opportunities for them, and that you really have their back, they will definitely want to work with you.
So is it true to say the statement that was made that said, if they fail, it's because we failed them?
In some areas,
right.
In some areas, but some no, because some they've had the teaching, they've had the example, and they did what they wanted to do.
Right.
So you can't blame everything.
Exactly. Now here's another saying too that was told to me. When people used to speak about the fountain of youth, right? You remember that saying, the fountain of youth? And I was told that to stay youthful is to stay around the youth. It was very simple. It was like, I got an answer. It was like to stay youthful, stay around the youth. Because that's tomorrow, that's the future. So you want to stay young. You can't just be around old people and the retirees. They need to come out and interact. Because I do a lot of things at the senior citizens centers, and I told them, I was like, hey, the younger generation needs you. We know you've retired. We know you living your best life. But you know what I'm saying? Come on back and talk to us young folks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The thing about it is that, and that's one of the things that we're committed to working on at From Pain to Purpose, is rebuilding the village, because my mantra is our youth. And what we get it twisted, when we just think about mine and yours. It's not just your kids, my kids, it's ours. And we've gone away, and it's not just because of COVID-19. Yes, that has definitely helped to expand the divide, but the generational divide is terrible. And we have to be able to bridge that generational divide so that the young people will hear the elders and the elders will hear the young people, because the Bible says that God called the old because they know the way. He called the young because they're strong. So if you know the way, who are you going to teach the way to if they're not listening to you? You have to be able to hear what the elders are saying, because they have been there and done that, but they say y'all are antiquated, y'all don't know what's going on today. That's because the elders don't want to learn from the young people. So there's issues on both sides, but guess what? We need one another, because our youth are outstanding, they are unique, and they are refined. We have some outstanding and unique young people, some very special, powerful young people, and that's all in our communities. All they need is support. All they need is a chance. All they need is someone that's going to believe in them. I mean, you have young people that are doing some phenomenal things. You have more young entrepreneurs now, and that's because of the support of their parents a lot of time. And then you have parents who do not believe in helping their children's visions and dreams. They will not invest in or support. You have to be able to do what you can do to be able to support those dreams and visions of your young people. I mean, my daughter, and my son-in-law, my 4-year-old granddaughter got a YouTube channel for her 3rd birthday. Okay, she all over social media, on Instagram, and inspiring people and making people laugh, and listen, that's one of the gifts that she sees she has. Right. So cultivating it. We have to get back to cultivating that ground and nurture the gifts and the talents that are in our young people, and not be so caught up and busy with just a 9 to 5 or just making our own dream happen. And you have more and more parents that are doing that. They have their children in acting and dancing and sports, and they're investing in these in the NAA, what is it, the NAACP,
right.
NAA, whatever the sports,
right.
those sports teams and varsity, and they're investing lots of money in that. So when you have that, you are raising up a generation of young people who can come together to turn this world around. But then you have young people that don't have that support. So who's going to support them? As a community, we have to stand up and rally around our young people that may not have this. But some parents are single parents. They may not be able to afford to do things like that. I mean, so what are we going to do? Just not provide a space for them? We need to provide a space to be able to say, listen, we got you. Let's see what we can do to build this community back together. And social distancing hasn't helped. With the COVID-19, it's made us even more separate, more divided, more alone. So we got to begin to rebuild the village of support for elders and for the youth.
Both, man, both. And that support, I have always thought that the support was the main effort. And when we're talking about bridging the gap and between the generations, those are some of the things that I deal with over at Peacocks, because when I talk to the elders, I'm because that was one of my pet peeves of, be quiet and just listen to me. But I had a voice, and it made me kind of retreat to where I didn't want to hear, only because I wasn't able to speak on what I felt or thought about it. Right. Mm-hmm. And I hope the parents that are going to see this, that you guys take note. She's really spitting some real information on this. Is life-changing information. Conversation rule the nation. So I believe all answers are just in common conversation. And what you said with the division going so much, people are not talking. When we get calls, they're like, I don't go around them like that. And I'm like, why? You know what I'm saying? A lot of youth are doing what they're doing. They think they're doing it right. Remember, they haven't been trained. They haven't been talked to. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So when I see the young fellas at the gas station and stuff like that, I always introduce myself, give them a business card, and I always say, man, stay free, stay out of jail. That's the first thing to do. You know what I'm saying? But they're like, Q, man, people don't let us talk. So when I built the platform over there at Peacocks, it was the same thing. Letting them be heard. I think when we have a love and passion for the youth, that's the whole thing, because we know they know. We know they have feelings. We know that they have something to say. And it's very important that we allow them to do that. So when we're talking about bridging the gap and the generational divide, for the people that are gonna view this footage, give the youth one thing that they need to do when there's an interaction with the older generation, right? And then I would love for you to give that elder generation what they need to do. So we know somebody need to listen. So what do you say to both parties if that bridge, we come to that point? What do you say to them? How to
I say to the younger generation, be respectful. Because a lot of times they're very expressive. And we, as the older generation, have to not be so sensitive to, we think everything they say is disrespect. They, a lot of times, don't have a filter. And sometimes you have to spend the time to get to know one another. With no understanding of who they are, there's always going to be a misunderstanding. You're not going to be able to see their heart, because I've been in that situation where I felt like, a young person might have been disrespectful. But then when they start talking about how they feel and stuff like that, they'll express like, I'm not trying to disrespect you. Sometimes they, might get loud, or sometimes how they say what they're saying we're like, I would never talk to my parent like that. I would never talk to an elder like that. So I think that we have to be able to, and that's all back to building that generational divide, even the communication.
Mm-hmm.
There's a divide in communication. Young people have to understand that, yes, y'all speak in a certain way, but you have to remember too that when you're speaking to an elder or someone that is older, or some, not that you can't be expressive or express yourself, but remember your tone, remember how you say it, and be mindful that if that's not your parent or grandparent or what auntie or whatever, it's somebody else's, you know? So don't speak to them how you wouldn't want somebody to speak to your own mother or father or grandmother.
So would you say in the generational divide that parents got younger? Because I wanted you to give an example of the youth, because I hear this all the time, man, they're being disrespectful, but I have realized it has been some of the things that you mentioned, like they're not being disrespectful, but like you said, their tone and maybe
sometimes they are being disrespectful.
Yeah. Right. I'm not saying that some of them don't, but then I'm what I'm seeing too in real life is like parents and kids are talking that way, right? Mm-hmm. So if they're at home,
oh yeah, seeing it. That's the example they're seeing.
Exactly. So by me being one of the youth at the time that I was going through that, it made me not want to talk to adults. And it started being like, you started like bagging up from any type of authority figure. You didn't want to go to school. You don't want to go to church. Because every corner you turn, it was like everybody's telling you what to do and not asking you how you feel about it.
Exactly.
So the reason I think for those that I come across, we have the similarity in incidents through our lifespan, but me overcoming, able to tell them, say, well, did you try this? Mm-hmm. You know, because they have the temperament, not to throw shade on parents, but parents are more like, well, they grown now or at a certain age, but it's like you putting them out there with their train of thought. You know what I'm saying? Because I think what they said, the scientifically, that all the way up to the age of 25, they still are growing and maturing and stuff like that. So we're talking about anywhere between 15 and 18. That's not old enough to give that responsibility of life and to work out all these personal issues, problems. They're not ready. You know what I'm saying?
And then also we got to remember, a lot of homes are one parent home. You don't have, you're missing an element in a lot of homes. A lot of young men do not have that example of how to even become a man. And a woman cannot teach a young man how to become a man. She can only do the best that she can to raise him to be a responsible adult in society, and how to treat women, you know, how to be a responsible young man. But she can't teach him how to be a man. That's the father's.
I think I've said this too. Stop me if I'm wrong. I believe it's, to me, I would say morals and principles. Because I love to have this conversation with ladies all the time when they tell me that, I can't teach them to be a man. But I'm like, let's just say if you did have a father or uncle or brother, let's just say they were somewhere or you've dated. So for me, and you can answer, chime in, if you could pick a man to date, lay down with, and you knowing how you want that guy to be, if it's open doors, taking you around. And I always say, well, why can't you teach your son those attributes?
And that's what you have to do, and that's what you have to do. So, but sometimes even when you do that, sometimes they may or may not follow through with what you've taught them. A lot of times you teach them to love God, but they end up doing stuff that you wouldn't think they would do, so it's definitely, or the morals and the values and principles and standards is something that you definitely, as a woman, you can teach them, how to treat people. You treat people the way you You know, we say you treat people the way you the way you want to be treated. But you have to treat people sometimes the way they want to be treated, because the way you want to treat them may not be what they need. Mm-hmm. It may not be what they need. You want to treat them rough around the edges because that's what you know. And you don't mind being treated that way. And a lot of our young people, they're very, and I hate to say this, but they are cutthroat when it comes to that's this whole cancel culture and all this stuff. The young people today will cut you off without a blink of an eye. They'll just cut you off. You know, we, the older generation, have a little bit more long suffering and loyal and have that hang in there mentality and work it out. And they like, you out of here. They don't have tolerance level that older generations have. So in knowing that, we have to understand how to engage them and understand that all of them may not come, everybody's not coming from the same background. Culturally, we are affected by how we were raised in our various cultures. And some young people have a very respectful culture. Like now I work with young people from Africa. Mm-hmm. Their respect level is totally different than the young people from other parts of the world.
But why would you? Why would you think that is though? Could it be the kingship or that nation or the community? Because you can see here, everybody's like, don't like, you can't chastise another person's child, meaning verbally or come here, and they don't, and then they can go home and tell their parent, and the parent coming back without asking what's going on. You don't talk to my child like that. You should have came and got me. So why you think what you just mentioned, that they have a different respect level than those in
and I'm not saying that some of ours from the other parts of the world don't, but I'm just mentioning that in working with young people from Africa, I see a difference. And I mean, even to the point where they call me mentor, they call me leader, they call, some of the women will call you ma, you know. And when you, and not to say that our young people have to do that, but you can see a mark, and I'm not saying that they're better. Right. I'm just saying that their respect level is very different.
Yeah, like Chick-fil-A. The workers at Chick-fil-A. He's like, where y'all get these people from?
Yeah, and it has to do with, and it has to do with culture. Yes. And how you were raised. When you're raised to honor those who have come before you and your elders, and you're raised to honor, you know, and I believe also maybe in the Asian community, the elders are very, very honored. You know, so that's something we have to instill even in our young people. You, like, don't call your grandma by her first name. Just be like, hey, Amber, you know. You know, when we was growing up, times have changed. When we were growing up, we just called our grandma's grandma. It didn't matter who parent it was. They were just grandma. There was no name behind it. Today, children call their grandma with the first name to differentiate sometimes who, because sometimes they'll say your grandma and the kids be like, which grandma are you talking about? So to help the kids differentiate, they'll say grandma this or grandma that, you know. So that's not a disrespect, because that's a thing where you're just helping them to be able to communicate and differentiate which grandma, but they'll still call you grandma. But the respect level of the eldership has been lost. And once we have to reinstill that back into our young people. And I believe that, yes, there is a difference in the times, because they call us old, y'all dinosaurs, y'all don't know what's going on, y'all don't know the lingo, y'all don't know the language, y'all don't understand. Yeah, we get it. We get it. But also there's things that we still can teach y'all. So,
right. So, but like I said, in defense of the youth, even myself, I'm like, not all of them, but you know, we're not talking about every one of them. We know this, you know what I'm saying, for the listeners and people that's out there in the that's going to listen to this. But what do we say to the adults? Because as we're saying, it didn't used to be like that, correct? And then
Correct.
at some point, to me, I believe the elders start laying down and allowing them to be disrespectful. And then that started metamorphosing into younger people having kids. And now that trend followed. So my question to you would be, we know we have to get the youth back in line to get back to that. And most of them may be too far gone. But what do we tell the elders now and the parents now? What are something to tell them in order to put that back in place? Because they have to be taught that.
The elders, I would say they need to, the Bible says this, with love and kindness have I drawn thee. So a lot of times we come from that hardcore school, and sometimes that's needed. Tough love is definitely needed. But I think that in order to re-establish and reconnect the generations, there's going to have to be a lot of give and take. There's going to have to be a lot, and it's nobody, just because you're the parent doesn't mean you can't apologize. Just because you're the parent doesn't mean it's my way or the highway. Yes, you have rules, you have all of that in your home, but you still have to be able to hear your young people. That's how come the suicide rate is so high amongst our young people. During COVID-19, there's a 35% rise in emergency room visits for teens going to the ER for mental health issues. Suicide, depression, anxiety, because they feel like they can't talk to their parents. They can't talk to adults. They can't, so they're talking to one another, and they're not really helping one another because some of them are in the same boat as the other ones.
Exactly.
So as a parent and as adults, we have to take a step back and say, yes, it does not take away from my authority as the leader of this home to give space to my child or even somebody else's child who will come and talk to you because they feel they can talk to you more than they can talk to their own parent. Because their parent doesn't allow them to have a voice, to be able to speak. So we have to take a step back and with love and kindness, draw them. Yes, nobody is saying you're not the authority. Nobody's saying you don't pay the bills. Nobody is saying that they don't have to listen.
That's what they say.
Nobody is saying that, that's not who you are in your home. But do you want to lose your child, or do you want to have your child live a life that's pleasing to God and to yourself?
Take a quick
second. We have to be able to tweak and adjust. We can't do everything like our parents did with us.
Right.
It's not that day and time anymore. We're living in a different day and time. Excuse me. And if we don't realize that times have changed, we're going to definitely lose our youth. We need strategies. We need new ideas. We need new creativity. And a lot of adults, even with COVID-19, didn't know technology like some of them have gotten better with it now because you had to.
Yeah.
You had kids teaching parents Zoom and Google Meets and technology.
Yeah. I think everything sped up so fast. I think there's a multitude of things that is happening. We have, it's like everything has sped up. We have this microwave generation. I want it now. I feel entitled. Then we have the adults sitting back and not interacting or taking that stroll, going to the park, like interacting with the youth. That's what I'm saying. Like I hear so many older people when they call and they're like, I'm done with it. Or parents will say, well, I already told them that. And I say, well, how many times did your parents have to repeat themselves when you were younger? Why is it that I told him? You know what I'm saying? And I hear that, I'm like, but how would you feel if you was in his shoes? Like, did you hear him out? And I see the over talking to kids, or even when we're saying the lack of support, that they're not only not doing the support thing, that some of them are shooting down the idea. I want to be a rapper. Boy, you ain't no rapper. And I'm always saying, no, let him say what he want to be. Because I believe it's your responsibility to get him the information he needs to make a decision.
Nurture.
He might not want to be a rapper after you give him all the ins and outs. Teach him that the money is behind the camera and not necessarily the one with the mic. There are different facets but if they don't know, you know.
Yeah, we got some comments on Facebook. Adrian said hello, and then Adrian also says, so true, kids tend to mimic what they see.
Yeah.
And then Adrian said the grandmas nowadays are still clubbing and continuing cycles.
Exactly. I see Sarah, my mom on here. You know what? I was actually on I have 2 Facebook sharing, so I was actually on the first one. So I see the comments now. Hey, shouts out to everybody on Facebook. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like my mom, man, she like the things that I have going on, that's because of the support. If it was equipment, if it was the words of encouragement, the prayers, and just being, even when I was in the streets, like, let's say what it is, trapping. She would come bring food to I'm coming wherever you at. See? So she was like, I'm not gonna leave you out here like that. And one day saying, you know, that seed that she planted will one day blossom and grow, and then years later, here I am. You know what I'm saying? Because of that support. That's how I know if parents don't support the life, then the vision. Yeah, it's you know, the outcome won't be as positive. You know, it won't be negative, but they won't be as positive as they could be. You know what I'm saying, from that situation, because it's hard when you feel like the kids say, man, my mama, my dad, and when they don't have that, the world looks so dark to them. They don't trust nothing and nobody. Yeah,
it's true. It's true. And we've got to, and I think it's one step, one moment, one event, one action, one hug, one embrace, one opportunity at a time. This was not done overnight. This generational divide did not happen overnight. And guess what? It's not going to be fixed overnight, but it's going to take more than just one person. And that's how come I really appreciate that's why I'm always, you know, showing love on your work and the things that you're doing and posting, because sometimes we can't always be with what each other is doing, but we can certainly show love and support. And my hashtag support challenge, I've been doing that for I don't know how many years, 2014, 2015 support challenge, and every year is whatever the year it is. So this year support challenge 2021, and together we are better, because we as people, we're so selfish and so self-driven. Yeah, we got to make that money, we got to be number one, but we cannot leave one another behind. If you see someone, one can chase 1,000, the Bible says, but 2 can put 10,000 to flight. Now, if one can chase 1,000 and then you add one other person to that and you get 10,000 that's put to flight, look at the multiplication because of unity. And that's what has been lost, our community. Unity, there's no unity in the community.
Right.
And that is about rebuilding the village and not leaving our young people behind. So when we do the work with Young Youth Speak Out podcast, they have a platform. They're able to speak about the things that they see. When we were going through all of this, the George Floyd and the Rayshard Brooks and you know, the Breonna Taylor and the Elijah McClain, and we were talking about all of these different issues in the Black community with police brutality. We gave them the platform. Mental health awareness, we gave them the platform. Speak about these things. Speak about how COVID-19 has affected you as young people, because the world was telling them, oh, y'all can't be upset because you didn't have a high school graduation. Y'all shouldn't feel no type of way that you didn't graduate from college because people are dying. Yes, COVID-19 was taking lives, but that's not our young people's fault. They still have a right to have their feelings validated that they worked for 4 years and were not able to walk across that stage, have a prom, have a graduation. My son graduated from Kennesaw State University during COVID-19. They shut down in March, right when he was in his last semester, the spring semester of his senior year. Everything was turned upside down. Everything was taken away. and it hurt because we were not able to have a graduation, so yes, you have a right to feel upset and hurt behind it. I even shed tears behind it because it was like, he was supposed to be graduating on May 6th. We were supposed to be at his graduation, but we couldn't because of COVID-19. We can't feel no type of way, so we have to validate them. Do you know how important validation is for our young people?
That's what they see.
King. That's why I call them young kings and young queens, because I want them to know that no matter what life has thrown at them, no matter what's happened in their home, no matter what's happened in their community, you are important. You are special. You are outstanding. You are unique, and you are refined. And I'm going to do what I can do to help re-raise this village of support for you.
Right. And I'd like to tell the parents too, like, I do believe at this point, I was skeptical about, speaking on it, either last year, but I think this music, how I want to put this, I want to make sure I put it right, but the influence that we are allowing to be the dominant one. You know what I'm saying? The rappers that are pushing the detrimental situation, because if you see, they all want to be rappers. They all want to be rappers. And when I look at the schools and I start saying, well, when I listen to the music, because I know a lot of parents that allow their kids to listen to the music and they're not listening to it. That's what I'm saying. Because I believe if you heard it yourself, then you might have an input about what are they listening to. So when I'm seeing where they're going, they love the rappers. It's like, if you're not talking that's the lingo that they're talking about. It's all in the music. You understand what I'm saying? So even some of the schools that I have spoken at, I'm like, this rapper is pushing this kind of detriment. And then you allow that rapper to come to the school to talk to the kids. I've been kind of like, how is that going to work? If you are not...
We're all about the glitz and the glamour, the fame, the celebrityism. We need to get off that train and stop acting like though everybody that is a celebrity is doing the right thing. They're not. They're human beings, and that's how come you keep seeing stuff happening in people's lives, and it keeps coming to TMZ and Black Twitter and everything else, because people are not perfect. Just because you're a celebrity, just because you are a famous rapper or whatever have you, people are still dealing with issues. And that's that pain that I was talking about. My bishop, when we went back in New York, when I was coming up in ministry, he taught us that if you do not handle your Achilles heel on your lower level of ministry, the higher you go, the worse it gets. So in other words, that thing that is something that you need to handle and deal with or whatever, it's going to continue to be exposed, as you look at all the stuff that we see happening with these celebrities and things like that. You have to understand that people will support a celebrity that they don't know, that the celebrity ain't gonna do nothing for them, that the celebrity really don't need their support, but they'll support them and share their stuff. But somebody that they know and love, that's doing a vision that is important and that they could just easily share, they won't even take the time to do that. We're too caught up with that foolishness.
Are y'all listening out there? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I hope you guys hear what she's saying. Queen, let's do this right quick. Give the people your information. Lock your information in. We've been on here about an hour. Let's lock the information in, how to find you. And most definitely plug in St. Even.
Okay. Well, actually, all of my, I'm going to put it in the chat. Both, I put St. Even's link tree, and that's where you can find his actual, all of his streams for the song 21. I believe his website may be on there.
I'm going to try to get him on here next week or the following week as well.
I believe his website might be on there as well. I just put my link tree in there. Everything on Facebook, so it's link tree.
Put it in the comment section as well on Facebook.
Yeah, it's link tree. linktr.ee/A Lyons 63.
And I'll make
So
sure once we I edit and also put it back in the comment.
everything, and St. Evans is the same, but here's the St. Even. My website, social media, everything that you need, even there's a 15-minute free consultation on my calendar that you can book with me to get, I've speaking engagements, speak in schools, speak on platforms, speak wherever, conferences, keynote speaker, panelist, all of that kind of stuff. If you need information for me to speak at an event with parents working with their children in the industry, my son and I, we this is part of what we have done in this book, Wake Up Winning No Matter What, because losing is not an option. You can see that it's both of us on here. We're co-authors in this book a few years ago, and we were the only mother and son team and managing artist team. So we have expertise in being able to help people to come and speak about, the young person's side of it and the parent side of it, to be able to help them be
awesome. Now let's segue into whatever topic or hat you wear. Let's segue into whatever you want to present to the people and you want to talk about.
Well, from Pain to Purpose, which is my organization, from Pain to Purpose Incorporated, our website is located in the link tree as well. We're going to be having, we're working on our Healing Pain Through the Arts Teen Spotlight Awards. We honored 11 young people in 2018. We didn't do it in 2019, but in 2020, we were slated to honor 20 youth in 2020. These are young people who have overcome life challenges and adversities, and they're using their gifts and talents to inspire others. We have some young people who were from 2020 who we're going to be honoring in 2021, but we're still looking for some more preteens, teens, and young adults up to age 23 to be honoring. There's no voting or anything like that. If you go to our website, which is www.frompaintopurpose.net, there is a Healing Pain Through the Arts page. You can go on there and fill out the form and submit the story of the young person. And we get it, we read it, and my team and I, and we select the young people to be honorees. We had red carpet, media interviews, artists performing. We had a reception for them, all kind of stuff to tell their stories so that people could be able to see who our young people are, and opportunities will open up to them behind that. So we ask for you to become submit your young people so that we can honor these young people who have been overlooked in their community, that they have gifts and talents. So reach out to us for that. World Women's Conference and Award Young Leaders Club. We're feverishly working to empower young people all over the world. Our next event is Saturday, June 19th. I know that's Juneteenth, but it's for an hour and a half on Zoom. And anyone is invited to be a part. We're going to be honoring fathers. So we have so much going on. Connect with me. All of my things, all of my social media, and where they can find me is in that link tree, so they can connect with us. And St. Even, like I said, his link tree I put in there in the chat already. That's for his song, but you can connect with him there or through me as well. Right.
2 questions right quick. Free fire. 1 question. Give us one of your funniest moments working with the youth. Give us something to laugh at. What has been one of the hilarious moments that stood out to you?
Oh my Lord, working with the youth. You just had working with the youth when they call you out on your stuff. Sometimes you just they will call you out on your stuff. Like they will be like, and especially when you think you know something, you think you savvy, you know the lingo, and they be like, what that mean? Okay, I thought I knew what I was talking about, but maybe I have to go back to cultural school of 2021. But when they call you out and then y'all all just laugh at it. They be like, you just think you really knew what you was talking.
Yeah. So
that's why you got to stay around them so you can stay. I talk to my son all the time. He always, and my daughters and them, they keep me up on game. Like
right.
So that can be very comical because you'd be like, I really thought I was cool, you know.
Right, right. So
And
let me ask,
another,
go ahead, finish.
and I was gonna say, and another thing that's really funny to me is that all of my son's friends think that I'm so cool, but then he don't think I am.
Well,
Like,
that's a son and mother thing. Because we know you really are, you know what I'm saying? And we talk to each other like that, like, man, that's just mom, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So next question. Let me embracing the new times. This is more of a serious question because I wanted to ask a few people as a group, as adults. Like you see, you watch the news, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watch news, right? And you know how they make you feel, right? And you have outlets to talk to your friends and stuff like that. What do we need to do about the youth that's seeing the same thing? It's their partner that got murdered or robbed or in prison and all of these things. I'm not seeing the adults or most parents asking them how they feel and how they are doing. Tell us what we need to do about that.
Open up the conversation. You need to start right there. Begin to have that dialogue. Begin to do check-ins. Check in with your young people. We've been in the house the past year and almost a half, whatever it is. Have you really checked in with your young people? Do you know what they're feeling? Have you taken time to, even if it's once a week, how are you? I was staying with my daughter and my son-in-law for a little while during the pandemic because Emmanuel was away at school. Saint even he was away at school. This is before, when we first jumped off. And I just stayed with them for a while. And I was talking about the importance of hugging. Hug one another every day. We walk past each other in the house, and I even on one of our Youth Speak Out podcast shows, I went over the benefits of hugging. Mm-hmm. There's health benefits in hugging. There's people that live alone and don't have anyone to embrace, and then there's people that live in a house full of people and walk past each other and never even hug at all throughout the course of a week. You have to tell your children you love them. And that's something else that's lost. Parents don't communicate verbally. Oh, I know about what they do. They need to hear that you love them.
You answered that right.
You have to open up that. Just start right there. You might not have done it before. You might feel awkward. Just sit down, put the phones down. Just say, look, we having a little family time. How you doing? Are you okay? And then you might cease it. Pay attention to the signs. You see changes in behavior. You see changes in how they're beginning to dress. You see changes in their speech. You see them withdrawing. Pay attention to those signs. Isolating themselves. Mm-hmm. Pay attention. Don't ignore the signs. Become educated. 80-something% of parents do not believe that teen dating violence is an issue. And that they even know how to handle it if their children are involved in those type of situations. We must become educated. Stop acting like, no, not me. It's not just you. Domestic violence and teen dating violence and all of these other issues affect our community. They affect your schools, your business, they affect your churches. We have got to open up the dialogue.
Yes. And that's one of the main reasons why I created this platform, to have, I know we got to have fun too, but then I see so many of our people, this thing about it's just all events and charging at the door. And I'm like, we're going to have to start having some serious conversations around here if we're planning on seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
Everything can't be event, and then don't have any type of fix the home. It could be at the end, it could be at the beginning, but we need that portion of, hey, we gotta, how we gonna bring it back? How we gonna bring it back together? Now, this last question, I'm gonna let you get out of here. Tell us what to expect when someone, youth, are transitioning from that pain to that purpose. What can they look for? And encourage the parents to continue to seek support outside of themselves, outside of that home.
You can look for a more hopeful, more happier, more young person that sees a brighter future for themselves. Someone that can not only see a brighter future for themselves, but now wants to help their peers see a brighter future for themselves. Each one teach one, each one reach one. So as we empower and pour into our young people, see, the problem is many of us are empty and we don't have anything to pour into anybody. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. So you need to fill yourself up with some good stuff and stop filling ourselves up with this foolishness and all of this getting caught up with who care about somebody's bonnet or who cares about what's. Listen, we need to focus on the real issues. The real issues are people's lives are being wasted. People are dying. You can't pour from an empty vessel. And sometimes we give out so much as parents. We don't have time, anything in us to pour into our children. Sometimes maybe y'all not sit down and pray together. Mm-hmm. Sit down and read the scripture together. Get God back in the mix. Get something of faith back instill faith in our young people. Give them something to stand on, create a foundation to be able to give them to hold on to. And we will begin to see young people emerge happier, healthier, more vibrant, wanting to do more, wanting to be able to. You'll see them go from being quiet and reserved, and not to say everybody's going to be loud, but no, you'll begin to see them blossom into becoming their own, even if they are a reserved young person, because some people just are, and some parents are. Some parents don't know how to show love because they have never received it themselves. So you need to go maybe and sit on somebody's couch and talk to someone. And as a community of Black African-American people, we need to start getting some help, some therapy, because some of these issues run deep. These generational curses have to be broken. So when we begin to do these things, we're going to see our young people emerge as more vibrant. They're already powerful young people. They have so much to offer, but we're going to see them moving and operating in areas where you may never have seen them before. They're going to have more confidence. They're going to have more, ability to be able to speak and articulate how they feel with a respectful manner, because they'll know that they're loved. They won't have the fear of the backlash. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see our young people just emerging and doing great things. Being able to shed off mental weights that hold them down. Society just it really can mess your mind up. So like some of the young people, like they don't even focus on a lot of the stuff that's going on today when it comes to social media, because it just makes them mad. It makes them upset. It takes their hope away, especially with all of the police brutality and things like that. They can't look at that stuff. So we have to give them something that's going to give them a brighter view to be able to channel that energy. A lot of that stuff, they don't know how to channel it. Right. So with the adult community, we have to continue to just break down these walls and these barriers that keep us separated. We have to join together and join forces so that we can be able to build a healthier, a healthier community for our young people and for our community ourselves.
Exactly. So we need to most definitely.
Scared that you're gonna share something that somebody gonna steal. If they steal it, go on, let them take it. Right. I got more for you.
Right. Two things that we must continue to give them too is that empowerment, and give them that pat on the back. They're gonna make it. They're gonna make it. That's
that validation,
right? And we need to make sure that they're not stopping or being stopped prematurely. That's all it is.
Yes.
Give us any opportunities you have to collaborate. You have any collaborative opportunities that coming up that you would like people to be involved in or get behind?
Yes, like I said before, the World Women's Conference and the World Young Leaders Club, we are looking for phenomenal young people, or young people who have leadership abilities, who would like to be part of an organization that is providing advocacy skills, is providing training and mentorship. We have been meeting bi-weekly virtually, but we're scaling it back to once a month because the world is opening back up. People are getting out more. So we're going to get, just meet once a month, and we have our next meeting, our event, our program for the year that I've created for them is called New Year, New You, which is shedding off of 2020 and everything that came with it through the pandemic. New Year, New You, find your voice and life's choice. So we deal with all kind of topics, for April, for Financial Literacy Month, we had a young person teaching on the wealth formula. We had one of our Cameroon, Africa leaders talking about agriculture and the young farmers in Africa. And so you're able to learn and collaborate with young people from all over the world and see how life is in another part of the world and how we can collaborate together and support one another and be able to do the things that our young people need in their own lives today. So that's what we're doing in that. So we welcome that opportunity for people to come and be a part. So join us at 11 o'clock a.m. Saturday, June 19th, to be able to just join us. We have a Facebook page, which is called World Women's Conference and Award Young Leaders Club. You can join us there and get connected. You can be a part of the Healing Pain, our You Speak Out podcast. Please support that. Go on YouTube, ring that bell. You Speak Out podcast is the name of the YouTube channel. We need, you can go to Instagram, You Speak Out YSO podcast on Instagram, show some love. These are phenomenal young adults who are holding it down. They've held that down during the whole pandemic and just talking about all kinds of topics and keeping people engaged and informed and sharing their voice. And so those initiatives, and then we have, like I said, our Healing Pain Through the Arts, You Speak Out, Healing Pain Through the Arts Teen Spotlight Awards is coming up in September, where we want to honor at least 20 to 21 young people who are using their gifts and talents to inspire others. Opportunities always coming to me. I've become recently also been awarded with the Red Blazer Award of Excellence and Achievement through the Carl D. Wilson Jr. All Women Rock organization, and sharing, that opportunities open up. I'm a judge for the Women of Heart, Women of All Heart Faces, Women of All Heart Awards, which is Women of Heart Awards. So when I share different things, people see what I'm sharing about the young people and they reach out to me for opportunities for them. So there's always opportunities opening up for young people. I'm always pushing for young people to have opportunities and to open doors for them. So just keep your eyes and ears open on everything that we have going on. And connect with us and help, if you have opportunities for our young people, get with our comrade Q Harper, get with myself, let us know what we can do to be a part of what you need for these young people, and let's work. That's because that's what we've been doing. The grind don't stop. That's the motto. The grind don't stop.
Being on ground zero.
Always grinding.
Hey, give us a positive message. You got to give the kids something positive while you here from Project Keep Them Off the Streets, and some of the elders that's going to see this right here. Give both generations some of that powwow.
Listen, I would say for our young people that your best days are ahead of you. There may have been a lot of things that you may have experienced that may not have felt so good, but learn from them. Use them as a stepping stone to be able to get to your victory. You have to know that life is going to happen to the young as well as the old, but don't get stuck in what happens to you. Take that life lesson. They say when you take lemons, you make lemonade. I want you to know that you as young people are powerful. You are awesome. Be your best self. Always desire to put your best foot forward. A lot of our young people today, especially social media, has taken them by storm, and it's taken them in a way where they put their whole lives out there, and it's not always the best. Remember that social media, even when you delete it, your life is still going to be accessible to somebody. Be careful what you put on the World Wide Web, because as you can see, if scammers can shut down the gas, and we don't even have gas to get where we need to go, they can take your life and make it a living hell. So please be careful what you put out there. But always remember to put your best foot forward. Be quick to forgive. Stop holding on to grudges. Stop cutting people off because you're going to cut off the wrong person who you're going to need. Don't burn bridges. Keep that yourself in a place where you are able to be still a student because you're young. Stay, keep that mindset that you can still learn from people who are older than you. Don't just throw those people away because you need them. And that's something that they have to learn. A lot of the opportunities come from the older people. Young people are not really providing opportunities for young people. The opportunities that come to me, they come from adults. So you can't want our opportunities and not want us. Am I talking right?
You talking right.
Older people appreciate these young people and stop looking at them like we will dog the young people when they mess up. But we support and love them when they're doing good. And even when they mess up, we are the way to show them the light. So as older people, we have to be able to love on our young people, be able to, yes, correct them because they still need to be corrected, but be able to do it in love. We need to get the love back. So when we begin to get the love back and show them that we really, truly care about them, remember, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So show our young people that you care about them, we care about them, and that we got a lot in store for our young people, but they only gonna receive it if they know you care and you hear them.
Hey, I hope everybody was enlightened, man, with the Queen stepping through, man, joining us on QTV. We really appreciate your time and your mind. You understand what I'm saying? And congratulations on all your endeavors and acceptance and all of your awards. We do look forward to partnering with you very, very soon on something.
Yes. Yes.
If it's Zoom, if it's in the parking lot of the park, you know what I'm saying? We want to get something popping. I want to leave the people with a saying as well, is that it's called consent giving. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. So
I love it.
Yet and still we rise, Black family. Listen, same time, same station next Friday. This is QTV. You got anything to say before we get out of here?
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Keep doing what you're doing. We rocking with you. We're proud of you. Thank you for sharing St. Even's music. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, comrade, to you and your queen and your family. God's got you guys, and we're here for you whenever you need us. We will try to make it happen, whatever it is that we need to do to try to support. So thank you so much. And also, when we did our commercial, QTV Multimedia did our commercial for the You Speak Out podcast, and we got a lot of love on that commercial. So I really appreciate you guys.
Hey, thank you for the support, and likewise, we're here as well. And we're going to sign out. Thank everybody for taking the time on this beautiful Saturday. I heard it's been raining like cats and dogs out there, but it's all good. Nothing grows unless it sows and all that good stuff, man. Hey, one love, like you said earlier, man. Grab somebody, hug them, man. Tomorrow's never promised. You heard me? This is QTV signing out, man. Love y'all for free. You understand that? For free. You don't got to do nothing, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yes, peace and love, y'all. Have a happy weekend and all that good stuff, y'all.
All right, everybody. Be safe out there.
Everybody tune in to my dog. QTV Multimedia. Peacock. QTV Multimedia. Posting people all of the time who do the flyers design. QTV Multimedia. I'm not the sun, but I'm helping them shine with inquiring minds. QTV Multimedia. Let us have a visit to your brand. We can come up with a plan. Show you how to expand. Q Harper is the man. In order to advance, you gotta take a chance. Commercial, photography, videography. Interviews, wanna know more, you gotta stay tuned. Look, Papa Shop event is very important. Let us add to your visual and make it a core virtual youth program. Set our mind and community. Try to keep them on the streets, teaching knowledge and unity. QTV Multimedia. Reaching out with all the different things that we teaching them. QTV Multimedia. Posting people all of the time who do the flyers design. QTV Multimedia. I'm not the sun, but I'm helping them shine with inquiring minds. Hey Q, keep doing what you